In this video, I'm going to be going over how to beat this 1250 Elo bot on chess.com. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this bot's name, but let's just get started. I'm just going to play one game with the white pieces, and hopefully you guys can see how I would win this type of game. Now, because this is a 1250 Elo bot, I am expecting some sort of this video to be a little bit more educational, because at this level, it's actually quite it gets quite strategic, so you can't just play random moves and like hope they blunder. At least that's what I'm expecting, right? Okay, so we get knight f6, and against this, I'm just gonna play bishop f4, learn the system. And against this, I really like to just play like very solid e3 and then just knight f3. Pretty much no matter what they do, I'm just gonna play these moves straight away. And because this is a very solid setup, I don't really have to worry about any weaknesses. I don't really have to worry about like what they do. They can't really pressure me immediately. So okay, so this bishop move's a little bit strange because now their knight can't develop to c6, so I'm guessing they have to develop it to d7. And a knight on d7 is not really going to do anything because my pawn is pretty much covering these two critical squares, so the knight can't actually jump to those squares. So I don't really think bishop here was a good move, and also it moved from b7 to c6, so I don't know what the point of that was, so I'm just going to keep developing. Okay, so h6 is a pretty thematic idea your opponents will have against you in the London system. The idea is to just play g5, right? Because this h-pawn supports the g-pawn, so their idea is to play g5 and then attack your bishop. Now, if I were to ignore this, they're going to play g5 and then after bishop to g3. Sometimes, if your opponents are aggressive enough, they'll play like g4, and then this knight will have a very awkward time. Basically, it's gonna have to like move to h4 where it's like not really gonna do anything, and usually a knight on the edge of the board is not that good. There's a saying that a knight on the rim is dim or something like that, but basically a knight on the edge of the board isn't that good. So in that case, I'm probably gonna play something like h4. Actually, I can't even play that because if they go g5, takes. Actually, wait, h4, if they go g5, takes, I can take this rook. So actually, I can play h4. But I'm also considering h3 because after g5, I can just bring my bishop back to h2, and then it should be pretty solid for me. But okay, I'm gonna play h4, so if they play g5, I'll just take. And okay, game goes on, they're probably gonna castle. So I guess I'll castle as well. But to be a little bit more flexible, I'm just going to play something like queen c2 first, so that I can always castle queenside if I want to. Okay, so rook here, I'm guessing they're preparing g5, but after takes, I think I can just take with the bishop and I'm still fine. So I'm just going to castle queenside. Okay, so we have to notice one thing, right? Because our opponent moved their rook, they can't actually castle this way, which means they're probably going to castle queenside. In that case, I guess I can start to attack them here. Okay, let's see. Bishop here, offer the trade of bishops. But then if bishop to e4, they'll probably play something like d5 and then kick my bishop away, so... Oh, but then I provoked this move d5, and then that actually lets me jump my knight to e5, so it could be a good idea. And after takes, if they knight takes, I'll just take everything. So we're just trying to trade everything, pretty much. Okay, so queen back. Now, I am considering just sort of attacking on this side of the board right now. But to play a little bit more solid, I'm just going to play king b1, protect this a2 pawn. Because whenever you castle queenside, you have to remember this a2 pawn is going to be undefended. So you can either play a3 or you can play king b1 to protect it. Or you can play both actually, which is what I'm going to do, because now I don't have to worry about any back rank stuff. Okay, so this pawn is attacking my knight. I can move back to g3. I can also move back to d2 and reroute it like this way. I think I like the idea of the knight going back here to sort of protect my king side. But okay, we get the trade. Now I can take with the pawn. I can also take with the knight. If I take with the pawn, I do open up this file, so I can potentially stack up rooks like this on the g file. So that could be a good idea. And also if I take with the knight, my knight doesn't really have a good place to go to, right? Because all the squares are covered and this pawn is blocking my way. So I think I'm actually going to take with the g pawn. And okay, so now I'm going to, so now I have this open file. Oh, I actually just hung this pawn. I didn't even realize that. But okay, I'm going to play, I'm going to play h5 so that they can't take my pawn. And let's see. Okay, so queen here attacks this pawn, but it's protected by the knight right now, so we don't have to worry about it too much. And I'm just going to go on with my plan of stacking my rooks on a g file, and that should be a pretty devastating attack on my opponent. Okay, so they played bishop here attacking this, and so if I take this, I'm guessing they'll take and then take my pawn here. I could move my knight so that my queen sees this pawn, but then I stop defending this pawn, right? So I don't think I want to move my knight. How do I defend this though? I could play bishop to g3, right? Offer the trade of bishops, and then after that, I think I'm going to be pretty well off. Okay, so they don't trade, so I'm going to play bishop to h2 and basically opening up this file. Okay, but the bishop here is actually doing a pretty good job of defending that, so pretty good job by my opponent here. Now, if I don't have any attack here, then I should probably try to expand in the center with something like e4, so that after takes, I can take the knight actually, and this will actually threaten to take this, right? So, okay, now I can take this bishop, and after takes, now I have this open file. So you can see how opening up the position in the center sort of allowed me to have more play on the other side of the board, because now the pawns are going to be like, move more towards the center. So now I can actually bring my rooks in. I can also give this check. I can also go rook to g6, threatening to take this. But right now my pawn's actually under attack. So I'm probably going to play something like queen d3 to protect it. Okay, let's see, queen d3. Well, actually both of my pawns are under attack right now, so okay, you know what, maybe just queen d3. Queen d3, okay, if they take this pawn, I don't think I'm too stressed, so maybe I'll try to trade rooks. That's always a good idea. Okay, we get the rook trade, and then after something like king here. Okay, so I was expecting probably, okay, I mean king here, I can just bring my queen in, and that'll be pretty good, I think. So, okay, king goes to b7. Now, I could play queen here, queen e4, and then that just sort of forces a trade of queens. And then because he is so paralyzed here, right, this knight basically can't move. Okay, it can move, because if I take the rook, then it'll just take with the king. So, okay, but the reason I offered a queen trade is because now I can fix my pawn structure. Because if you notice back here, right, I have double pawns here which are pretty weak, so by offering this queen trade, I sort of improved my own pawn structure. So now I have this very nice pawn structure, and okay, we're gonna trade rooks. And after we trade rooks, I could have actually played rook g6 to attack this, but it's fine, either way. I should be able to win this. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna play this move, and then we're just sort of trying to. Okay, so the position is basically closed right now. In this case, I have to think about, okay, how do we win this endgame? I have a bishop here that's not really doing anything right now, so I need to somehow get my bishop here and then attack this h6 pawn. So I'm gonna start by going bishop to g3, and also remember, like, my pawns are actually doing a good job at preventing his knight from doing anything. I think b4 here would be good to prevent knight a5, because if I allow knight a5, then he could potentially go knight a3, and then that just wouldn't be too good. I'm also allowing knight to c4 as well, right? So I don't want to let him play knight a5, so I'm going to play b4 first. Okay, we get a5, that's a pretty good move, but I don't actually have to worry about it, because if he takes, I'll just take with this pawn, and I'm still covering this a5 square. So I'm just going to ignore that, and I'm going to finish off my plan with going my bishop to here. sorry, not there, here, and then attacking this pawn. So always look for weaknesses in endgames, right? How can you sort of exploit your opponent's weaknesses? In this case, if I take this pawn, I actually have this passed pawn, and I'm pretty sure that's a very dangerous thing that my opponent is allowing me to do here, because now I can just push this pawn and I'm pretty much going to win the game. Now once again, you don't have to take, right? If they take you, then you're just going to take. If they take like this, you're going to take, and it's just like nothing's going to happen. So you don't actually have to worry about it. What you should do is just sort of stabilize your position and then just push this pawn. Okay, just push, and then they can't stop it, right? This knight's too far away, and now they can't stop your pawn from promoting. So now we'll just promote, and then we're going to win the game. Okay, just queen here, pretty simple. Knight's dead, can't move it. Make sure that's not stalemate. Okay, so take the knight. They still have this square to move to, right? b6, so it's not going to be stalemate. And now I can just take this and take everything. We're going to win the game. Okay, so once again, take this. There's no stalemate. King can go to a6. I can just start pushing this pawn and then just, yeah, winning the game like that. It's perfectly fine. Once again, there's no stalemate. King can go to a7. And now we're just going to ladder mate our opponent like this, and queen to e8, and that's going to be checkmate. So hopefully this video gave you a pretty good idea of how to beat a 1250 Elo bot. If you guys did find value in this video, please do like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. But that's going to be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.